This is the story of Gavin. This video is part of 7 videos made in honor of Gavin for his 7th birthday. The videos can be watched in order from 1 to 7 or whatever order you choose. Please subscribe to show your love and support. This is Gavin's mother, Danielle, sharing his story.
After your second ultrasound, that it still said that there was no fluid. And what did she tell you, or did anyone tell you that nothing was going to change if you didn't get some kind of intervention?
She didn't tell me anything, to be honest. There was, I always felt like, even then, and like looking back, that there's just no urgency to the fluid. It wasn't made like it was a big deal. It wasn't made like we needed to go to the hospital. We didn't need to go see a doctor. It just was like, there's just no fluid. And the way that she kind of made it was like as if I was dehydrated. And then she also did this like, oh, I'm going to ask my mentors, like, and ask them their advice about it. And I was like, sure, go ahead and ask whoever you want, like talk to whoever you want. Like, I didn't understand what it was, but she never really explained anything about it. And it just felt like it wasn't that big of a deal at the time. Like now I know it is, but at the time I didn't know anything. And she made it like it was no big deal. It was just nothing.
So did she tell you after that second ultrasound, what things did she offer you? Did she give you your chart to transfer? Did she tell you there were ways to induce at home? What was the next thing after that, right after the second ultrasound? Just take me back there. You're sitting in the office, you're sitting in your car. Where were you?
After the second ultrasound, I called her, like trying to figure out, like pretty freaked out, like, can you see us? Because she couldn't see us before that. She was too busy. She said she was busy with other clients or whatever. And she suddenly was free. So we went over to her house. We drove over to her house and met up in her, like, kind of like her office or her area that's in her house, which, by the way, she had like this big house, and there was like, her house was down here and she had like a separate door. So her house was here, and you would go up like in the store and go up the stairway up to this like extra, like kind of like almost like you would have like an extra loft area in like your house above maybe like your garage, I would say. And yeah, it was her garage. And so you went up, and she had, her area was all like natural birth. She had like a shelf with like herbal stuff on it, and like, you know, different little like info things and maybe books and stuff like that. She had a bed that was like where you would go to like the doctor's office. So it was pretty legit looking. She had her like her desk with her files, and she had her little like stuff on the wall of all of her stuff. So she looked pretty legit. And like literally you would go, and you had a little hall right there, and there was a bathroom. So you go to the bathroom, and you had all your stuff in it. So you could pee in a cup and you put your stuff in. So everything was like, you know, whatever. So we went to the appointment, and we went in her office area, her room. And we sat down with her, and she didn't seem that concerned or that worried. She said that like everything was normal. And so what she did was she said, this is what we'll do. We'll do a membrane sweep, and I'll check you, you know, whatever, for like kind of like dilation. And because she knew
Were you
I was
dilated at all?
you know what? I don't even remember if she actually, I think she told me I was dilated, but I don't even think she actually told me how far I was dilated. And for some reason, oh no, maybe she did, because for some reason I want to remember, or I kind of sounds weird, but I think I was like a 4. I don't know why, but I kind of remember where she was like, it's a 4. Because she was saying something about, it was like a 4, but it was almost a 5. Like it was almost the next, whatever the next thing is. And for some reason, 4 pops in my mind, because I'm not going to lie to you, like this part is part of it that I kind of try to block out, because there was just so many lies. And I think about, these are like the last moments of my kid's life, and she didn't even have the decency to send me to a hospital or to a doctor. She just decided to do things like her own way. And I thought she was a nurse midwife, so I thought she actually knew what she was doing. And the reality is she did like a membrane sweep. And I don't know if that caused more issues, to be honest, than what was already going on. We already had no fluid. I already had told her that my water possibly had broke before this. And so who knows if her doing anything there added more stuff that to on top of whatever was going on. Like I'll probably never know. And she gave me some herbal stuff that I think I might have took the first one right there in the room with her actually. And she was like, just take this every couple hours and stuff like that. And I carried like a big jug of water all over the place, a big like refillable thing. So I had that there. And but there was just no talk of transfer. There was just no anything. She was like hyping us up. If I remember exactly, like even talking to Michael, it sounds like really weird. He remembers like in his mind, just repeatedly thinking, we're having baby tonight. We're having baby tonight. We're having baby tonight. And it's like really creepy to think about now. But like, that's what she was like telling us was like, baby's coming, baby's coming, baby's coming. And sure enough, I left her office. She sent us to the mall. We walked around. She sent me to go walk around, and we went to the mall. It was still kind of cold out and whatever. And so we went to the mall, walked around. I was like texting her the whole time. Oh, she sent us with a Doppler. Okay, like I said, this is kind of where it gets really weird because I try to never remember this appointment out of anything. This is the one that I hate the most because I feel like it was the most damaging appointment that we ever had. And I feel like this was her opportunity that she could have changed everything. Like my whole history would have changed if she would have made the right choices. So she gave us a Doppler because I was really freaked out, really, really freaked out. I can't even explain it, but I was just really, really scared. I didn't know why. She was telling me everything's fine, everything's good, and baby's good. Like, oh, he looked great. Or, what you think baby's good. We didn't know we were having a boy, but she gave me a Doppler because she was like, okay, you're going to check every couple hours. You're going to check when you're having contractions. And if it dips, it lowers. Like he's about like a 145, 150. It was like his normal. So she's like, if it starts dipping, just watch, make sure it just goes back up and then you're fine. And that's what she told me was like, if you see anything kind of go down a little bit, like whatever, I don't remember if she said like 130s or whatever she had told me. If it starts going down, that's completely normal. Like that's how it is with contractions. All babies do that. And that's how we kind of got like how to use the Doppler, like training basically, like here's parents with the Doppler that she gave us, like here, like, yeah, just search around and find the heartbeat. And he kind of liked to lay on my left side. So it was like really easy. He was head down, really easy to find everything because he was like right in the position to like have him like to go into birth. And so that's what we did. We were checking and she was having us check in with her and let her know anything. If anything was like off, if anything felt weird, if there was whatever. And after we got home from walking around, I lost my plug. And I lost my mucus plug and I let her know. And she was like, yeah, I told you baby's coming. I told you baby's coming. She was all excited. And we were kind of like, okay, maybe it's coming. And again, I've been having contractions for days. So I was like, oh, okay, this could happen. And there was a couple times in the middle of the night that I was experiencing a lot more intensity. So I was like, okay, maybe this is gonna go on or whatever. It was a very weird night because I couldn't get a hold of anyone. No one. I couldn't get a hold of my mom. I couldn't get a hold of anybody. And it was very scary. And I kept saying, do we need help? Do we need help? Like, do we need to ask someone else? And Michael at the time was like, we're going to have baby tonight. We're going to have baby tonight. Like, and that's what we were told. So we were just kind of just going with it, but we didn't get any sleep. Like we were up. I mean, how can you sleep between every couple hours? Like we set an alarm on our phones to check every couple hours. So anytime I would like even have like drift off, he was like waking me up because he's like, we need to check baby. we need to check baby. We got to keep on this. We got to check baby. And we were texting her and telling her everything that we were going through. Okay, we checked, he's still at 150, you know, like whatever. We were telling her everything throughout the night. Like, oh, we're getting more blood. Like, oh, you know, whatever. Like, oh, contractions seem to be increasing and all stuff, still taking the herbal stuff. So we talked to her all night long. And I know she had told us like before this, like before we were even 40 weeks, she was carrying around my file in her purse because she knew, I mean, I'm the next baby, like the next one's going to happen. So she was like, I carry your file with me so she could write everything. And she had like a page, which I had seen, because remember, like we signed and we did all this stuff before. So I knew what she's doing. And so in labor, she told me that she was going to be checking him and, you know, checking me and going to be doing all these things. And she's going to be writing it down and monitoring us like the whole time. So of course, when we're at home checking baby with a Doppler, I'm telling her everything, and she's probably writing everything down at home so she can keep monitoring if something's like maybe going another direction that I don't see. I'm not medically trained. I don't know anything. I'm just doing what I'm told to do. And we spent the whole night doing that. And then the next morning I was too freaked out to do castor oil because I really thought there was no fluid in there because I was dehydrated. I really thought like it was just me. I didn't know the function of what fluid was. I didn't understand how it works. I didn't understand the placenta. Like I actually don't understand anything about placenta or what the purpose is of like our body. Like I really don't know. And I think a lot of people don't know that. To be completely honest, like I don't think a lot of women know like how our body actually works, but I didn't know. I just was like, okay, it's our body. We have a baby. But so it was kind of weird.
Well, that's
like
what you're really depending on your medical professional for.
Yes. That's exactly. Like, why would we hire someone because they know all the medical stuff of your body and your baby's body and your placenta and all these things. They're supposed to be keeping track of everything because if stuff's going a direction that you're obviously not noticing, you're supposed to just be like going through labor. Like that's it. You're just experiencing birth. But if something's going on that's not safe, it's up to them to say, hey, we got to do this. Hey, let's go to plan B or plan C or whatever. Like they're supposed to have all this stuff figured out. And we're just supposed to be like, sure, yeah, whatever you want to do, let's do this. And that's what we,
Get this baby out of me.
yeah, that's what basically we were. And I mean, at that point, I had already been asking about being induced. So I was totally cool with like, let's do whatever. Like I felt like I was pregnant forever. So I was like, I didn't want to be anymore. I was tired. I was exhausted. And I was like, just get out of my body. Like at this point, like, let's just go. Like, let's just be on with our lives here. So it was just the ending was very weird because it felt so exhausting for me.
So you said she sent you home with herbals. Was that a tea? Was it pills? Did she explain how often you had to take that?
It was something like, it was kind of like I guess you could say kind of like a tea. It was liquid. And I had to take it every 2 hours. And I don't remember all the things that she gave me, like, cause I don't even know. It wasn't like it was something like, you know, you get like a vitamin bottle and you can look at the back and see how many like what's in there. It wasn't anything like that. There was nothing on it. And I believe some of the stuff she said, because I think she kind of told me a couple things, but again, I don't know what the heck she's telling me. I believe blue and black cohosh were in it. I do believe those were the two that I remember because later on I heard people talking about like natural induction and I was like, oh, that's what I had. But I didn't know at the time even what I was being given. So she gave me, it was like a mix of something. And I remember, if I remember correctly, it was disgusting. That's what I remember about it was really gross. And I took it every couple hours. But like I said, I'm pretty sure I took my first dose there. And then we were like setting alarms to like every couple hours take this herbal thing. And it was kind of like an herbal shot really, because it was like you just took like so much. You didn't take very much of it. And then checking baby and all this stuff. And it was just horrible experience at the end. I don't know. You might as well be induced at the hospital because Yeah, they said they talk all about the crap of whatever, but the crap of trying to natural induce is terrible too. I'm sorry, but it is.
Right, and you don't know what you're taking. You can't turn off doses of stuff. It's not regulated, like,
Yeah.
So you did not have any kind of doctor's appointment after that night where you didn't get any sleep. You wake up or it's morning. Michael's tired. You're tired. What was your next step after that? You've been calling her all night or texting her. Did she text you or did you text her and finally get an answer?
Um, we've been texting all night, and so the plan was get through the night. Like basically, the plan was have the baby in the night. That was really what the plan was. We were doing all this thing to have baby in the middle of the night, and then if we reached, I can't remember if it was 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. It might have actually been 7 in the morning. If we got to 7 in the morning, I still hadn't gone into like labor where she was coming and we were having baby. That's when I was supposed to take castor oil. But I was annoyed with her and she was like texting me, whatever, because at this point I was getting mad because I was like, this is crap and this is not working. Like literally, I was like, this is not working. Something's going on. I'm not like, something's happening and I'm not being told. And so we ended up like in a fight actually that morning. And I'm sure part of it was lack of sleep because we all three of us had been up all night. And it also like, she was trying to like keep the situation very contained and very controlled. And then here I was like, I'm not taking castor oil. You told me I'm dehydrated. And I read on the internet that castor oil dehydrates you. And so I'm sure that did not make her very happy that I was like, nope, I tried to do some research last night in the middle of the night that I was up between Doppler checks. And so I was just like, I refuse. I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it. And so, because she was on the phone with me, literally telling me, you need to take it. You need to take it. And I was like, I'm not taking it. I don't care. I'm not taking it. I'm not going to take it. I took the other stuff. I'm not taking this. So we like fought about this and it was really bad. And so then she was like, fine, you don't want to take it. I'm going to make you another appointment. And I was like, fine, make another appointment. And literally that's what happened. She's like, we're going to go do another BPP. And I was like, let's do another BPP. And so we went to go do another one. And I was like, I literally got off the phone and was like, I don't really understand why we're doing another BPP. Like, what is the point? Nothing is changing. Nothing is happening. Like, I don't understand why she keeps having us go for these tests. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I feel like this is just a waste of time. And so she scheduled it out.
So
Again,
where
this was the morning.
Because I know from your location, was it very far to go for you?
Yeah.
It was okay, so you had to drive for a bit.
Yeah. We had to drive across the valley, actually. That's where we did the ultrasounds, like the first ones the night before. So we were way on one side, like the farthest in on one side, and then you had to drive way over to the other side of town to get way, kind of like the one edge to another. And we went way over there for this appointment. We had to wait hours to get in. I want to say we got into our big fight in the morning, like decently early. And I'm pretty sure we had breakfast and lunch, and then we were making our way over there. Like Gavin wasn't born till after 3. So I don't think we had the appointment till like, I don't know, maybe 2 or something like. I know that sounds like weird, but it was later in the afternoon. I remember she claimed that she couldn't get me in the morning. That's what she claimed. She claimed she couldn't get me in, and as soon as she could get me in was like early afternoon kind of thing. So it was just more time wasted. And that day, I couldn't even hardly tell you about that day. Like, I can't tell you what I did like that day after we got in the big fight. I do remember driving over to the appointment and I was pissed off. I was really pissed off. And I was listening to hypnobirthing, like affirmations. They have like a disc that you put in. Like, so I would drive to work and I'd drive home and I had that. And they annoyed Michael, by the way. They hated them. He couldn't stand like driving in the car and I was listening to this repetitive affirmations. So we were driving over, and it's far, so we had to drive. We listened probably to the disc like twice. Like, it's bad now thinking about it, but at one point I was just staring out the window, and I just remember, I remember hearing something, some line that they said, and it triggered something, and I was like, that's it. I can't take it anymore. If we go to this appointment and she doesn't tell me anything and she can't tell me what's going on, we're just going to go to a hospital. I don't give a crap what hospital. I'm just tired of it. And he was like, okay, yeah, that's what you want to do. That's like, he was like super calm and super like, okay, we can do that. Yeah. And I was like, I'm just done. I can't deal with this anymore. So we went in, and that's like, we had like a little bit of an attitude towards each other, because we did the appointment thing, and then she asked the lady, can we go into, do you have like a little room that we can talk about? So we went to like this other room out of the ultrasound room, and it was just like a little, I don't even know, little office room or something, a little room they had there. And she was still trying to convince us that we were going to have our baby at home. And she was reading all this stuff about these freaking people wrote like online, which I didn't know, because she told us that was like her mentors, but it was just random people on Facebook, random midwives on Facebook saying, oh, continue. And then she gave us this stupid bathtub thing. If you look up a bathtub, and you wouldn't see the water in the bathtub. So of course you're not going to see any fluid when you do an ultrasound, when there's a baby that's about to be born. And so she gave us this big like spewel on like how normal this is. And then I'm just at the end of like my pregnancy and about to give birth. And so I was just like done. I was like, I'm okay, whatever, fine. Like, bye. Like I was trying to leave. And then Michael was like, well, we got to drive back across the valley. So let's check heartbeat again, and like with the Doppler. Because again, we were going to be sent home with the Doppler, and we're just keep taking your herbs and everything. It was just being sent home. Like there was no nothing. And then that's when it went down.
Home, but
We were being sent home.
so your ultrasound was at a hospital?
It was at a doctor's office.
Okay, so it wasn't inside of a hospital where you could just go and see a doctor if you were tired of her BS.
No. So what happened was, okay, I'll be honest. I've lived in Vegas for a while, but there's a lot of stuff I'm not really familiar with. It's very, very big. It's a big place. We were in a doctor's office that was next to a hospital. Okay. Very close to a freaking hospital. But there's also hospitals in Vegas that do not do labor and delivery, just in case you wonder. So if you go to certain hospitals, they're actually not equipped to deal with that. They only have like ER doctors. So we were next to a hospital, and we went to like a doctor's office, because that's where these ultrasound people would go to. They travel around to different doctor's offices doing ultrasounds. And that's what they do. And that's why we seen one that was like near the stratosphere, like for my ultrasound in January after the car accident. It was near there. Then we seen another one that was over like the other side of the valley. So we would like basically they float along, and if they fit us in, that's where we would go. So we were not at a hospital. We were in a doctor's office, and we came out, and this is kind of where it gets a little strange, because I always look back at this and I just think of like, now I can think of it like, honestly, like, where the hell was my transfer plan? Because she had told us she had a backup doctor, and we can always go to her backup doctor anytime, or we could go to the nearest hospital. That's what she told us. Like, but of course there was no, like, we never knew any risk, but that's what she told us as far as the plan. So we were right next to a hospital.
But you were not at a hospital that could actually do anything about any results that you saw. See, that makes sense. There's a lot of hospitals, and I don't know, people say the hospital is 10 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you think. Are they equipped to take you? I've got a hospital now with an L&D that's probably 10 minutes away, but they are not for anyone high risk. They're not for an emergency. They are like, it's midwives, hospital midwives, but it's kind of like their birth center. So it's for low risk. And if there's any issues, they tell you you're going to go to the bigger hospital, and we'll transfer. I mean, they take care of all of that. It's not like a home birth transfer, but you have to know that. And if you just think every hospital is just a hospital,
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing, is that we were at a doctor's office that was really close to a hospital. But you have to remember, the doctor's offices are not normal doctor's office. So here we have medical buildings where you go in, and they're huge. Like, they're really big. You get like cancer areas, you got skin areas, you got, there's OBs in there, you got pediatricians in there. There are these giant buildings, and the giant buildings, some of them are attached to medical, like so sometimes there's like a hospital, and in front of the hospital will be a big group of like medical buildings. But if you don't not paying attention, you won't realize that the hospital is actually right behind it. Or there's a medical building, this giant medical building, and right next to the medical building, if you go, like, there's like a little drive and the parking lots. By the way, the parking lots are huge. Sometimes they have covered ones.
Bigger.
Yeah, it's all bigger. So here you're at this medical building, but you don't realize if you left this parking lot right here and you drove right over here, you're at a hospital. Like it's like that. So if you're not actually like looking for it or paying attention, you actually will miss it. And that's what I didn't realize until later that there was like, oh, it was like we were at the hospital. We were not at a hospital. We were at a doctor's office. You know, it was not anything like we walked into like, and there was a front desk or there was whatever. It wasn't like that. There wasn't anything like that. This was a doctor's office that actually, now looking at where we were, it took a while to even figure out that where we actually were, because I don't know the area very well. But I've drove by there to go like shopping or go do certain things. And I've looked over and I was like, holy crap. That's where we went, you know? And so it was like, that's where we went. There's the doctor's office. And if you looked over here, there's the hospital. But at the time when you're like in a panic mode, I would never like, I was like trusting and whatever. I didn't pull up my phone and start Googling hospitals or something like that. She's the midwife. She's supposed to know where I'm supposed to go anyway. So like thinking about that, I do remember that getting brought up, like, and I was like, I wasn't at a hospital. We were at a doctor's office. And I don't know where the nearest hospital was. And she was like, she told us to go to this other hospital because the doctor answered when she called and he said, yeah, I'm here. And that's how we went going over there. And she's like, oh, it's only like up the road, which again, oh, it's only 10 minutes away. But the reality is like, you have to go through a lot of traffic lights to get there. And so, I mean, easily it was at least 20 minutes away. Like it had to be like, I can't think of it being like, it's a pretty good distance. If you were to look at kind of where we were, like, it's a pretty good distance on the map. So I'm like, I don't know why, like, I don't know if it drives me nuts. I'm sorry.
No,
Like,
no, it's
so
fine.
mad. Like,
So you're in that room, she's talking to you and telling you, you'll be holding baby soon. You're at the end of your pregnancy. You still have the Doppler, or does she have a Doppler?
we do, actually. We have the
So
Doppler. She's
She
sending
wants
us
to
home with the
listen to
Doppler.
baby.
Mhm.
She's going to listen to baby one more time.
Yeah, so we went to listen to baby again. And then that's when he was like at like 100 at that point. And part of what I always have wondered, looking back into like time, when we did the ultrasound, I always wondered if they actually ever checked his heartbeat then. I always have wondered that, was when did it actually start? Because we had checked it before and he was fine when we had left the house. But when we were there, and we were there for a little while, because it takes time. Like when you go to the doctors, you have to wait to go on to get called back. And then, you know, it takes time. And so I always wondered that, like when they actually did the thing, I always wonder, what did they actually look for? Did they treat us differently? Because I don't know what she told them we were even there. Were they just looking for fluid, or did they actually check my baby out? Like, I always wonder that, like, I don't know. It bothers me. Like, if I'm thinking about that, like, I'm like, I don't feel like nothing was done. It's just weird, but that's how I feel. Like, I feel like it just got, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, that is
someone
really
got missed.
interesting, because
Is
you
that
think
weird?
that would be something they'd be able to see or to visualize, because you, depending on the level of ultrasound, you would be able to see and even check out baby's heart if they're flipped the
Yeah.
right way. So his heart rate was at 100.
Yeah. his
What
heart was
happened
down.
there?
We started making phone calls. We started calling and texting people on her phone. And I was bawling. And Michael was, I think Michael might even started crying too, or he was trying to like console me. And then she got on the phone with somebody, and then they told her to do something, and she was like, okay. And she hung up the phone, and then suddenly she got on the phone with the doctor, and she was like, you know, I have somebody, and I don't remember even what she said. And I just remember, I'm pretty sure like he had told us that he said, if you're near a hospital, go to the hospital. If you're near here, just come here because I'm here. And she was like, you want to go see him? He's at the hospital right now. And I was like, yeah, let's go see him. And she didn't tell us like how far away. She didn't tell us like anything. She just was like, you can follow me in the car, da da da. He's waiting for us. So she told me like, oh, we're gonna come over there. And so we rushed out of there, ran over to our vehicles. I was getting up in the vehicle. She pulled her vehicle around and she gave me a little juicy thing, and then was like trying to like kind of like give me sugar to like spike his heartbeat up or something like that, I think is what she was trying to do. And so, and she had me lay on my left side and she was like, we're going to follow me and da, da, da. And she was basically like assuring me, I was like crying, that everything's going to be fine. We're going to get to the hospital. There's enough time. Everything's fine. And we went so far, and then she like stopped and he was like, what the heck is she doing? And I was laying down, so I couldn't see anything. And all of a sudden she's like we pull in the parking lot, opening the door somewhere like halfway or something. And she's pulling in like an oxygen tank and trying to put an oxygen tank on me or whatever the heck she was trying to do. And that was more time. I don't know how long that was. And then we get back going basically. And are driving to the hospital. I called my mom on the way. My mom got over there super fast. I don't know how she got over there. But when we pulled up, they were both waiting, like midwife's waiting and my mom was waiting with a wheelchair. And my mom was pissed. My mom was so mad. And I got dropped off basically. He went to park the car. And like, then we had to like go through the big building because it's a big hospital and we have to go through the big old lobby and go way up whatever, and then go way up the elevators to the labor and delivery department. And then, and they had a room waiting for us. Like, I think pretty sure they had people waiting for us right when we got up there. They like just pulled us right into the room and we went up in the room. And then, yeah, they immediately put a monitor on him. And the first thing that I remember when we got into the room was he was like, who's Christy? Are you Christy? And he pointed at my mom, and my mom was like, no. And she was like, and she pointed at her, and he was like, oh, hi, whatever. And so that's a moment that
her backup doctor. This is supposed to be the doctor she told you about. Okay.
Yeah, So looking back at this, I realized she didn't have a backup doctor. This was her backup doctor. And this is who she told me was her backup doctor, but he didn't know who she was. He never met her before. He's never talked to her before. So come on, if you looked at my mom and thought that was there's the midwife, clearly you don't know this guy. Like, you don't know this doctor. So I think about that. I'm like, oh my God, like you didn't even know.
You have to say for the viewers, you would not mistake Danielle's mother for the midwife because they don't look anything alike. They do not look related.